Hey everybody, welcome back to the Plays and Fades YouTube channel. I'm your host, Gordo Gambles, and welcome back to another episode of, what are we even calling this thing? After the weigh-in show, a nice little live stream on Friday afternoon, and I'm looking forward to this card. We had a nice week off. Before we get into it, before I introduce my amazing guest this week, I want to let everybody know, not only do I have my DraftKings video out on this channel, as well as a DraftKings breakdown on the Pub Sport Radio channel. My best bets video for current MMA should be out shortly, so that's a ton of content for you guys. You can check that out after because you don't want to miss what my co-host is bringing in today. And I say we don't waste any more time on that. Lots of content. My DMs are always open. I'm excited to make some money on this card, so I want to give it all out there. I think it's going to be fun. I think there's a lot of opportunities. So without further ado, this week, no Phoenix. He's off having his grand old time. Instead, we not only have the man behind the MMAEngine, but we have the most attractive man in the space, the Yambags King himself, Mr. Lou Betcha. How are we doing, my friend?
I'm definitely the most attractive guy at my desk. I don't know about the space, and I'm not as attractive as Ben Davis or Phoenix. And Phoenix, congratulations on everything that's going on. And I'm subbing in for Liam too. I'm like Liam's understudy, so always.
We all learning from Liam, right?
Always do my best to hop in for Liam. If you guys have never seen me, by the way, I'm, let's just say personality-wise, a little different than Liam and Phoenix, but I'm a prop. I go for the props more than I go for the I don't like safe bets. I'm not a guy who likes safe bets.
All right. I say we don't waste any more time. Let's break down this card. We got 14 of them. We have a bunch of, I don't know, what do you want to call them? Conspiracies to go through?
There's two fights in a row that are very strangely booked.
Yeah, there's a bunch that we'll take our time. We'll break it down. We'll get philosophical about it. You know what? We're gonna be the smartest people in the world on these ones. And you know what? I am riding a bit of a hot streak. So if I do end up losing, it will be all your fault, and you will never be invited back again. But other than that, I think if you do well with me, then you got to stay. So it's a lose for you, man.
It's, you know who it's a lose for? The guy in the chat, because typically I would get an afternoon adult beverage with him. Now I might have to put that on. Might have to put that on hold.
Well, you know what? I say it's worth putting on hold just today. And after you get absolutely rich hitting all these bets, which, by the way, if you want to know a full thing of all Lou's bets, he's got, what was it? Prop elevator yesterday?
Bet elevator, yeah.
Bet elevator. I'm close.
But I'm going away, but I'm going against a few of them because.
Are you?
Well, some of the picks that Mike made, I can't make. And then some of my picks, like I have a change in my Selecki bet that we'll get to.
Oh, I have a few bets tonight that I'm kind of on the fence about that I need you to either talk me into it or talk me out of it. Okay. And I'm hoping you push me in the right direction. There's actually 3 of them. I've narrowed it down. Yesterday I texted you. There's like 5 of them. Narrowed down to 3. I say we don't waste any more time. Let's get fancy. Let's bring a screen up because you know what? People can only look at us for so long, right?
That's right.
We want to make sure we're giving out knowledge, not just raw sex appeal. So let's put that up like that. And we get some lines going up today. Let's make sure to zoom this all in. Nice. Okay. First fight of the night, we have the -500 Aaron Blanchfield against the plus 385, the sizable underdog in JJ Aldridge. I think this is going to be a nice fight to open up the card. It's actually a really weird one that we have opening up the card. I wouldn't expect it to be so, but I think that it's going to be a lot different than a lot of people are saying. I see a lot of people just saying Aaron Blanchfield is going to look -800. I think it's going to take drastic improvements to be able to live up to that -800 price tag, or not anymore. Let's say -500 price tag. And where I do think she is the rightful favorite, it's really hard for me to justify any bet on her at all, let alone any bet on this fight at all. I personally don't like betting on people who I think are going to lose, but I'll tell you for a fact right now, all these Aldridge by decisions, like that's the value word. That's the trap word, is I see value on them. With that being said, I do think Blanchfield wins here. I do think she wins a decision. I do think she WrestleManias her. I just can't. I can't put my money on it. It's just such a wide line. So I'll let you know. Sorry, have you let me know if you see anything different. But it's a really tough one to start the night betting wise.
Yeah, I mean, I agree 100%. And if you look at Aldridge's last fight, I mean, she has a clear path to victory. She does, if she can keep the fight standing. She did against Robertson, who was a wrestler. The problem is that she's so one-dimensional as a wrestler that it's easier to stop those takedowns. I don't think that Blanchfield is one-dimensional, but she's still young in her career. You know, it's been 6 months since she fought. Now, she stomped Maverick, which was so impressive because Maverick only has 1 loss in the UFC. I'm not counting the Barber fight. I think that I think that Aldrich, though, is tough. She's tough to finish. She has a decent get-up game. I think Blanchfield's the better athlete, but Aldrich is no slouch. She's young. I feel like she's been around for forever, but Aldrich is what, 29, 28? I mean, she's late 20s, so I think Blanchfield wins. I don't discount like a super late finish. I mean, if she's having an easy time getting the takedowns, it can fatigue Aldrich. Maybe the late finish, but I like Maverick. I like Blanchfield minus 145 decision. If you want to be a little safer, I know DraftKings has minus 225 for the round 3 decision combo, but yeah, I mean, anything other than those kind of plays, the round 3 decision's a parlay piece. The money line, I wouldn't even bother throwing the parlay, but it's hard to bet. I don't see Aldrich winning, but again, if this fight stays on the feet for 15 minutes, Blanchfield's not going to look minus 500.
No, and that's the thing too, is you have to bank on her shooting for those takedowns nonstop, but she's one who I think will actually be able to shoot for them nonstop. I do like Blanchfield's mindset and her strategy going into it. And I do think the only reason I'm not playing that decision with you is because I do think that maybe that late finish is live, because it's not like Aldridge is some absolute stud on the ground. I just think people are jumping to huge conclusions about how potent that Blanchfield is. Like, sure, she's a great fighter with lots of promise, but is she going to live up to that price tag? I don't know. And Tom's out here saying exactly what I was just going to get to on DraftKings is I do see this going the distance. And for that reason, when you have a fighter like JJ Aldridge at such a low price tag, she's going to have a decent floor. Every round starts in the feet. Every round you start being able to, having to fend off that takedown in Aldridge's case, but you're able to accrue points. And I do think that JJ has this decent floor in order for you to get up and get those Damon Jacksons, get those Evloevs, everybody else up top. But it's a tough one for me to play.
You can go get Askar.
Yeah. You need to, I don't know. Maybe is his salary going to change or like his record? Who knows?
That'd be funny if it changed like every 2 hours. They just like, nope. New data has come in.
The amount of things I can say about that fight. But on this one, Blanchfield's going to go out there. She's probably going to wrestle her decision. And I'm not going to put my money on it because I think that lines are too wide either side. Maybe I have to go look at those DraftKings markets because I think I did learn some stuff there that I haven't earlier. But the pick's going to be Blanchfield. I am staying away from her because I do think that other people around her have a higher ceiling at that price range. So she's not my favorite DraftKings target. With that being said, DraftKings is also banned in Ontario. So
Monk's philosophy, right?
What's Monk's philosophy?
The salary he hates the most is 9,600 because of what they have to do to be optimal. So he said to me, he's like, I remember it was like Monday. He's like, Blanchfield's my favorite spot. And then he sees your salary. He goes, Blanchfield is no longer my favorite spot on this card.
And now who is it?
Damon Jackson, probably.
Exactly.
I mean,
anyways, decent fight start of the night, entertainment wise, viewership wise, betting wise, stay away from it. If you guys feel like getting greasy, put her in your parlays, but I don't think it'll end up looking like she's a minus 600 favorite at the end of the day.
Doesn't help your parlays a lot either.
No, I think she looks like a minus 250 favorite on her way to a wrestling decision, but I wouldn't be surprised if Aldridge makes a lot of people sweat on the feet. But let's move it right along. I mean, we have 14 fights to go through, so I think we get right into this one. This was the one that I was really looking forward to on weigh-ins today because I wanted to see how they looked cutting to that weight. Andreas Michailidis, a guy who has come into the UFC, had a decent test so far, right? I mean, he's facing some good guys, but we all know what that red flag is. And before I mention it, the weigh-ins today, he didn't look spectacular, but he made the weight. He did it. And I think that honestly, I was expecting worse. Sure, he looked sucked out, but I think he looked okay. Fakardinov, on the other hand, making his UFC debut, had a pretty sizable favorite. And I think when we're looking at betting lines, the most important thing that stands out to me was the fight doesn't go to decision opened at what? Minus or plus 120. See, if you got in on that, that's something that you really should look into, but I missed the boat. And for that reason, I'm kind of staying away from this one. We all know the cardio dump of Michailidis. We all know that he becomes this completely different fighter at the end of the third round or end of the second round, end of the first round. He's a huge cardio dump. End of the first. With that being said, I don't know Fakardinov enough. I will sprinkle some round 3 on track bets, but I can't put a bet on this one. I'm going to stay away. I do think Fakardinov comes off the win. I do think he has decent GPP upside because people are going to look for the Evloevs, the Blanchfields, the Jacksons up top, and Fakardinov could go a bit sneaky if he gets that finish. However, he's getting that step up in Michailidis, and while Michailidis has energy, he does have potential to be a decent fighter. Anyways, a lot of just variables going around. I want to hear your thoughts on this and what are you thinking about it?
So it's crazy to me that Michailidis went from 205 to 185 and now he's at 170. Let's see how he looks to ceremonials. Like, I didn't think he looked great today, but I was on we'll call him Renat, just so I don't butcher his name. I was on Renat from the jump. It's if you look at Michailidis's career, I mean, he great in round 1 against Pereira and then just got caught, but he looked great in the first round. KB Boulery looked great. Bukowskis, that is one of the weirdest stoppages you're ever going to see. Fell out of the cage. I don't know what's he supposed to do. The thing is, I just don't like his cardio past 5 minutes. So I have 2 ways I want to play this. Well, 3 ways. So one is, I just talk around. I'm going to say his name wrong. You know what? I'm going to channel my inner Bert, and I'm going to say it right. Fakhretdinov is correct.
Good job.
I'm going to play him in the distance at even money. I don't see this fight going the distance at all. So I'm going to play him in the distance. I think after the first round, he's a great live bet. If Michailidis comes out hot, I think you might get him at an even money after 1 round if Michailidis has some success on the ground. But I just feel like this is Renat's fight to lose. And I think at some point in the second round, he's just going to start tagging him. I think a ground and pound finish round 2. The round 2 finish, I think I want to say it was round 2 KO was 600. I'm looking it up now.
Round 2 straight plus 500.
This round 2 KO is
plus 700.
Yeah, and that's what I like in terms of a prop here. For prop hunting purposes. I don't see a round 1 finish. If it is a round 1 finish, it's probably on the Michailidis side. But I don't like, especially with the weight cut, I don't like the cardio. I like the cardio even less. So if you said you're playing him round 3, don't hate that either. I think the round 2, round 3 props completely live. And I don't see, this fight, if it goes to the distance, it goes to the distance. But, for me, it's Renat in the distance, even money. And then you don't even worry about the win condition in that case, just in the distance. And then those round props are calling me. And if you want to throw a time prop in as a parlay piece, that under 2.5, I think, still reasonable at minus 150 something.
Yeah, I don't mind that. And when I first did my tape study, honestly, the very first thing I considered betting was this over 1.5. I mean, you have a guy in Michailidis where he does have this huge drop off. It's not like he's a horrible fighter. Like, he's got some good skills all around, good, well-rounded fighter. And Fakhretdinov getting that step up in competition. The problem is I had no idea that this fight was at the weight class it is. And in doing so, I don't know how Michailidis' durability is going to be affected. And I haven't seen enough of Fakhretdinov to really want to bank on this. So instead, I'm going to pass. I'm going to take that round 3 sprinkle just because, like, I have gambling issues and I want to bet on something.
If he had chin issues at 185, I mean, I don't see them getting better. Like, with a hard weight cut. I mean, if he got used to the weight class, maybe. But with a hard weight cut, I don't see his chin getting any better here. Not in this spot.
Anyways, this is one that I'm going to target a bit on DraftKings, take some Fakhretdinov, but give me that late finish. That's all I'm looking for, but I'm not going to go too crazy on this one. I have a lot of spots where I am going crazy. I am being an absolute lunatic, and this is not one of them. So I say we move on to the next one. Jeff Molina. He's opening up minus 175, the Twitter darling of the world, and Zagas Zumagulov, the unsung hero this week. And if you guys listen to my show on Wednesday, you'll know that I'm on the dog Zumagulov for DraftKings purposes. And I forget what his exact name was, but I've had a couple people DM me this week calling me an idiot for taking Master Z here. Everyone loves Molina, and I get it. I get all the points. I saw Phoenix break down, but nothing made me happier than waking up this morning, seeing a Liam Picks Fights video, and seeing that him and his guests are on Master Z. That really helps me out. But let me explain myself. Let's break this one down. Jeff Molina, great volume, working with a very, very good camp, good pressure, good cardio, good durability. I think he's a decent all-around fighter. The big hole in his game is not only the level of competition, but he's got a horrible takedown defense. And where he does pop up a lot, he gets taken down. And when you have a guy like Zagas Zumagulov, who has fought the better echelon of the division, he knows what he has to do to win these fights. And I'm not banking on him necessarily to win this fight at a high clip. I'm banking him to go for takedowns. When I'm playing a DraftKings guy, I'm looking at this from DraftKings point of view, by the way. Look at a DraftKings guy where Molina's going to get right back up. He's still going to allow that takedown. And that's just him getting back up, just opportunities for Zamagulas to score another one. and another takedown. And by the way, every time I say that name, I feel like I'm watching Game of Thrones. Zamagulov. Yeah. Anyways, I feel like Zamagulov is able to get those takedowns, get that control time a bit for those first 2 rounds at least. I think the pressure and cardio and durability is going to be on the side of Molina. And I think if I'm going to take a money line spot, I'd probably take Molina. I just think it's a bit wide. He's still new in the division. He's still got a lot to learn. He still has some better experience to accrue. And I don't know if I can lay the chalk on him. So I'm going to stay away from this fight. But from a DraftKings perspective, I'm on the dog Zhalgas Zamagulov. What about yourself?
Well, if everybody's calling you an idiot, I guess they're going to be calling me an idiot too. Because not only am I on the Zhalgas side, but his decision prop is plus 300, and I'm all over it. I don't think he's a tremendous finisher. The thing, I get that Molina is the internet darling. You think he wins this fight at a high clip? I do not. I think this should be
not at a high clip, but I do think if a gun to my head, if I had to pick one.
If you look at Silva's 2 fights, there's a couple things here. So everybody loves Glory. Everybody loves Krause. Yes. I get it. But I think that we're at the point now where I think that's influencing the lines, because people immediately hear James Krause. They're like, well, he's going to have the brilliant strategy here. But having a brilliant strategy doesn't mean you can implement it like every single time. So I don't know why people associate that with the guy's going to have the better strategy. If you look at Molina's 2 fights, the Arichi Lang fight, was in a lot of trouble at the end of the first round. He's hittable. Arichi Lang was just grinding him up against the cage, and then Molina took over down the stretch. This I don't know if we call him De Silva or Lacerda at this point.
You can make it up.
But he was getting stopped in the first round of that too. And De Silva took him down, and he reversed De Silva. And then De Silva's awful. He just lost to Walmart Figgy in 12 seconds. So how big is that win? He looked bad against a guy who is not good. So I question, is what I've seen from Molina in 2 wins, should he be almost a 2-1 favorite over anybody? I don't think so. Then you look at the Zhalgas side and all right, so Manel Kopp got him. I don't think there's really much of a shame in that. He beats Rivera. I don't look too much into that.
No.
I thought the Albazi fight was, was tight, whatever. I thought he beat Paiva. That was very competitive.
Me too.
And then you go on the regionals before that. He's fighting great guys. He's fighting Ulanbekov, Bagatinov. He's had success and wins against the way better competition. I think he's 33. He's in his prime physically. I think his fight IQ is pretty good too. So I think he's going to do exactly what you said. I think he's going to take him down. I think he's going to grind this fight out. Get him against the cage. I don't think it's going to be the most thrilling fight, but I think Zhalgas can win, and I think he can score a few takedowns. If he doesn't get reversed, I'm curious to see Molina in the 3rd round fighting, off his back for 2 rounds. And one last thing on the DFS end for you. Not only do I agree with Zhalgas in terms of the play because of the takedown upside, with Molina having no takedowns, he's finish dependent. I don't see Molina getting a fit. If you're going to bet Molina, I like the Molina decision. So I don't know how Molina justifies his price tag here.
Exactly.
What? It's completely finish dependent.
It is. And of course you can see that the durability and the cardio concerns for Zhalgas. I've got durability in terms of the Kopp finish, but I do think over a long period of time he could be overwhelmed by Molina's pressure. But I do think that the over 2.5 is the way to go if you're on Molina as well. That is exactly why. I'm trying out all these new DraftKings props. DraftKings just came out in Ontario. I'm learning it. I tweeted out the whole thing about the Evloev most takedowns, and I'm waiting for Zhalgas most takedowns because I think if you could, I want to see the line is for Zhalgas most takedowns and the over 1.5 or 2.5, because I do think that's a very likely outcome here. Jeff Molina is a guy who he's fun to watch, and he's a Twitter darling, but I do think that Zhalgas is being slept on here. So hopefully that DraftKings ownership is low and there's money to be made. In terms of from an official bet, Gordo Gambles has no official bet on this one. I'm going to sit back and watch, because what I like to do is when I target a dog heavy on DraftKings, I don't like to have too much involvement in it. So instead, I'm just going to sit back and watch, because I feel like if Zhalgas loses, I'm going to lose money anyways. So anyways, I gun to my head, I'm picking Molina, but at these odds, you got to give me the dog and Zhalgas all day. I'm looking forward to it.
It's the bet without having a bet.
Exactly. Before we move on to the next one, what's up, everybody in the chat? I know DFS Whisperer popped by. What's going on, my man? How you doing? Hopefully my audio sounds all good. I just had my girlfriend call a couple times, and I had to decline them because fights come first. I'm no Phoenix MMA. I'm here to win you guys money. And I'm going to clip that, send that to Phoenix later, just so he knows.
My girlfriend hates me, for the record.
Oh, I don't blame her. Anyways, I think that we also got to get odds. Phoenix is going to come over. He's gonna come watch the Max Holloway fight night. We're gonna have a couple
nice
games there, so you can bet on. You can maybe do an in-person live stream. We can see how obnoxious that guy is. I'm mad at him for ditching this live stream. Anyways, let's move on. I love the guy. Don't you worry. Johnny Munoz Jr. Speaking of darlings of the week, I mean, this guy got bet down from all the way what? Not that much, but he is everywhere. Johnny Munoz Jr. versus Tony Gravely, and this is the story of just the biggest dog of the week. I see everybody on Munoz, and whereas I myself have a bet on Johnny Munoz of a sort, I do think Gravely's going a bit disrespected here. I mean, this guy averages 126 fan points in a win. Like, Gravely is a very good fighter because he's a good wrestler, but I think that one of the biggest demises you can have is if you're a wrestler is if you're going to take someone to the ground, be able to fend off a submission, please. Because I feel like if Gravely had this top tier submission defense, he'd be like a much better fighter. And that's exactly how it's going to go. It's going to be Gravely winning the fight until he's not, because his style plays into the style of Johnny Munoz. And I get why everyone's taking the dog on him. I'm getting why everyone's taking that sub prop. I had to take a half unit stab on that inside the distance line as well, because I do think that Gravely's fighting style plays into the win condition of Munoz, which is that sub. So I know we just saw Gravely go out there and defend 24 guillotines or something like that. But Johnny Munoz is a very talented grappler. And I feel like with Gravely being a wrestler, and that's who he is, he's going to be able to give opportunity to Munoz to latch something up. I don't mind the finish only line for Munoz. I don't mind a lot of those things. But when it comes to DraftKings, it's a fight that I like to have ownership of on both sides, because either Munoz is going to get a finish and be a high scoring dog, or Gravely's path to victory. We know he scores very well with all that wrestling upside. Laying and praying, just like apparently you do on your girlfriend, it is going to be a bit harder for Gravely, because I do think Munoz is very active, but his win condition is also decision. I think it's Gravely decision or Munoz submission. Am I wrong, Mr. Lay and Pray?
No, you are not. I tried to not want to bet Munoz all week because I do not like going with these MMA Twitter. If I can avoid it, I try to avoid like the groupthink. The problem is it's with Gravely is every time Gravely fights, do I want to panic for 15 minutes that Gravely's going to make a mistake? And like, I just don't trust his fight IQ. I didn't trust it. I mean, Maness, like that fight was just a complete, sometimes a fighter just has that one fight where he's dead to you. And it's like, I don't know how it could have been stopped in the first, but I don't know what he was thinking in the second. So I don't know that I trust Gravely's. Like, we're talking about the submission, and I do. And my favorite prop is Munoz round 2 sub at 10-1.
Ooh.
I just, do I trust Gravely for 15 minutes? If you go back to the Simon Oliveira fight, Simon Oliveira is not I don't know if he's UFC caliber. He's fringe. And he had moments where he had guillotines locked in. Now, I mean, he's on his back, on the back guillotine, the desperation guillotine. I get it. The point is Gravely's still allowing this to happen. And there was one that was in pretty tight. So I think Munoz is a better submission artist than Oliveira. I think he's going to have at least 1 or 2 chances in 15 minutes to wrap something up. And that's all he may need. And like you said, I think Gravely's winning until he isn't. And on the feet, Gravely should be, you'd think he should be significantly better. But But, I've seen Munoz take some shots. He's never been knocked out, never been finished. I've seen him take some shots. I don't think Gravely is some elite one hit and quit guy. Like, I don't think he's a super power puncher. Yeah, he has pop, but he's not like an elite, throwing bombs. He's a volume guy. And I think Munoz, even if it's not going his way on the feet, Munoz can just make this ugly and get it to the ground. Even if he's pulling guard, getting Gravely on top of him, I think he could just get it to the ground. And that's where, if he wants to fight off his back for 15 minutes, I mean, look, we're taking the sub prop. That's where we want the fight. So
give me some grappling.
So give me Munoz. I have Munoz submission. I do not, I like you, I do not see a path for a decision here. So to me, it's sub or bust. I know I've seen people argue that, but you can't win a decision off your back for 15 minutes. Like, just doesn't happen. So I'm going to play him by sub, and then I like the round 2 sub at 10-1. So
do you think that Munoz has any offensive wrestling upside?
absolutely. I mean, Gravely is not some. It's weird that people seem to think Gravely's this is going to be his 33rd fight. He does not come off like a guy who has fought 33 times. Like, he doesn't have the fight IQ of a veteran. I think there's no reason Munoz can't get a reversal on him. And if he gets the reversal, he's going to get his back, and that's going to be that. I don't think Gravely's. I don't think I've ever seen Gravely get a reversal. So if Munoz takes it, like I'm saying is if Munoz gets on top, what does Gravely try to do? Is he going to try to? All he's going to try to do is have a get up game. He has a get up game. There's his neck. So I think there's a lot of ways Munoz can win. And like I said, I really don't think the advantage on the feet is so pronounced. I don't think Gravely on the feet is like worlds. He's better. He is not worlds better. So I'm going to take the dog shot on the sub prop here too, man. For DraftKings, it's going to be tricky because I think Munoz, unless he gets reversals, he's also finish dependent. And Gravely in a loss, if he's got like 9 minutes of control time, like he could actually outscore Munoz in if Munoz got like a 3rd round finish, could Gravely actually outscore him or like could it be close? Maybe.
I have both my dogs back to back, and I'll be sweating this one a bit, but it's one of those ones you said 1,000 times. Gravely's he's gonna be winning till he's not. So
and the price is right for both of them. Like,
oh yeah,
like no matter who. Like, I almost feel like this is must roster. Like with these prices, like you're getting, if you like Munoz, you're getting a steal. If you like Gravely because you think he can win a decision, I mean, in a decision, he's gonna get you over 100. He's easily gonna 10x in a decision. You have to think.
Yeah. You have to think.
I think either way you play. I mean, I think whoever wins the fight scores, probably getting Gravely will score 100 and win. Munoz might get 90, but that's all right too for that salary.
Fair play.
You are certainly the expert though, not me.
Yeah, it's a tricky one for me because I as much as I want Munoz as a dog, his win condition scores well. Like Gravely's win condition scores very well as well.
Scores incredible. His upside's incredible.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm still torn, if I'm being honest. I have not yet submitted my Ironman lineup this week.
Gotcha.
And I know that people have jinxed me a lot in the past, you included. So I'm worried.
Me?
Yeah.
Hell, I do, you son of a bitch.
You introduced me as a 2-time champion.
You told me to introduce you as a 2-time champion.
Oh, no.
I will find the message where it says I am this and soon to be recognized.
Oh.
But I appreciate that you think I could literally defeat the entire country of Canada's like gambling legislation. I'm flattered that you think I have that power. You're not my guy, buddy.
We got nothing much up here. We just got some. We got the sports book now, at least. Anyways,
they'll figure it out. I mean, in America, it took like they banned poker, they banned online poker. Everybody was miserable, and then like as soon as they figured out, oh, cool, now we know how to make money off it. Like everything started slowly coming back in. I mean, there's still states in America that don't have it. I live in Pennsylvania. We were one of the first actually to have because they're like, yeah, we want your money. Like we know you're bad at
taking
gambling.
it.
Oh, they're
taking it. That's why you're
I'm taking
these big props.
Well, I'm taking it hard. They're taking my money. I'm just taking it.
Okay.
No lube.
Okay. Next fight up, we have the man who was almost murdered on live television, Benoit Saint Denis versus Nicolas Stolze. Nicolas Stolze, he'll always be remembered to me as the guy who wasn't he on that card that had like 6 fights canceled, and then. Yeah,
it was like 8 or 9 fights, I think.
And then he was like $7,400 as like a -200 underdog. He's a guy who's dead to me.
Oh, anyways. That was the free square. That was like the free square fight. It was Gooden. That was a Gooden fight.
Yep, exactly.
And then he ran into Gooden's fist.
What is going on? That was a weird night. Anyways, how you said Gravely's dead to you after that Menace loss? Like Stolze's dead to me. Anyways, this is one of the ones where I wanted you to talk me out of it. Because I was tempted on Benoit Saint Denis this week, strictly due to that grappling upside and that durability upside. I think when it comes to skills, I know Stolze is no rollover, but he has holes in his game. And I did tell myself that if Benoit Saint Denis gets to like -140, I would bet him. And unfortunately, he's getting there. I just, the more I think about it, I just don't know if I want to subject myself to that kind of torture, because I haven't seen a large enough sample size from Saint Denis, and it's not like Stoltze's some can. But I do think that Saint Denis will have the grappling upside. I do think he's a very sneaky target on DraftKings because no one's going to roster him. He's going to be one of the lowest owned guys because of the people around him. And I do think he scores very well in a win. Can he get that finish? No, he's most likely submission over position. But he scores well in a win. Are you going to talk me into it, or are you going to talk me out of it? What are your thoughts on this fight?
So I don't have a bet. I will not be betting this fight. However,
Smart.
I think Stoltze stinks. I've seen nothing like the problem. Then this is why I'm not betting it. I think Stoltze stinks. There's nothing he's shown me that shows that he's like UFC caliber fighter. He allegedly has some ground game. I've watched his tape. I'm not impressed with anything I've seen. His stand-up isn't good. The big problem I have is let's pretend that like the last fight went the way it should with Saint Denis, which means he's coming off a knockout loss. Because any other ref, even no nonsense Keith Peterson, calls that a knockout loss. So Saint Denis, though, in the third round showed some toughness. I mean, he was aggressive in the third round against Aleksei dos Santos. So he's got the cardio advantage. He's proven he can fight in the deep waters. So to me, it's Saint Denis or pass. But I'm not going to touch it. But I'm with you. You know, if Stoltze starts getting some love, and maybe this gets to like that minus 130, 140 range, it's worth a poke. But for me, this is my bathroom break fight. I can't trust Stoltze, and literally all we've seen from Saint Denis is him getting murdered. So like like I said, I was impressed that he had some toughness in the third round of that fight. He was not dead. Like he was trying to like wrap up takedowns, but Stoltze has shown me like literally squat that he can do in the UFC.
It's funny because that was his first fight, and it looks like he took like 20 years off his life with that one.
Oh yeah. And then there's another element here too. Sorry, this is why I don't want to bet it, because this is my buddy Tom and I have talked about this. So and I know I know it's very different, but this is the same principle. Chris Matinho was the favorite in his last fight against Guido Cannetti. Matinho was a favorite. All Matinho did in that fight, his last fight, was get punched in the face a lot and show toughness. So why is he a favorite? And I kind of feel like, well, why is Saint Denis a favorite here if all he did his last fight was get punched in the face? Now, I still think Stoltze is just not a UFC fighter. But, excuse me. So that's why I'm just staying away from it altogether. I don't know. I mean, maybe like fight doesn't go, but even that's juiced. So I just don't see it. You're not helping me.
I was hoping you'd talk me out of it.
I think this is where you just take a break.
Okay. Maybe I'll play some Saint Denis and DraftKings because I do think it goes low ownership.
I like every other fight for a bet except one after this. So.
Does it involve a bag of oranges?
It does. It may.
Okay. Perfect.
And I still like a bet there, just not the bet not the bet everybody's thinking.
Okay. Well, next up, we have the now biggest favorite on the card, Damon Jackson. So he got a beautiful price tag of minus 725.
Wow. I didn't see that. Oh my God. When did that just spike today?
Yeah, it dropped another 100 points today, but he's facing on the UFC newcomer in Daniel Argueta, a tough alumni. He got knocked out in the first round by Ricky Tercios. Anyways, this is one where you're getting a guy in Daniel Argueta who's coming in on short notice, who's facing a guy up a weight division who is let's call him the grizzled vet in this spot. And it's tough to argue anything else for Damon Jackson. I'm going to spend 0 time on this one. I can't justify a bet on this one at all. I know Jackson could be considered a parlay piece, but even at that, like, Argueta's not horrible. He's just getting a bad matchup in the fact that he's going to be so much smaller, so much less experience, and just covered in a lot of areas. So no bet for me. DraftKings upside's there for Jackson, but he will be super high owned. I'm going to leave this one to you because I'm not talking about it much.
I imagine he will be the highest owned guy in that range.
Manafield.
Oh, well, we'll get there. We'll get to that one. Yeah, Jackson's sub is like even money, and I'm like, oh God, like really? Like really? So yeah, I don't know, man. You can't take a money line. No equity. I will say this: Argueta cut his hair when I saw him on the scales today. If you look at his Tapology picture, he's got like gorgeous. He's got Wheezy hair, gorgeous long flowing locks. And I cut his hair, and I'm like, oh, this guy's the worst. Like, glad I'm not going to bet on him at all. But I mean, I was looking at even like the Jackson sub props. Like, this is wild to me. Jackson round 2 sub plus 350. Jackson round 3 sub. I'm looking on BetMGM, by the way. Jackson round 3 sub plus 800. Like, what? Like, are you kidding? So, I mean, Damon Jackson's submission is minus 115, I guess. But, like, I'm not betting this. This is another one, like, it's like the Blanchfield thing, man. Like, you're giving me the prime win condition, and I can't even get, like, I'm still getting minus odds. I mean, like, and, like, we don't know. Argueta's never been finished. Like, so there's another fight I want to compare this to. I realize the talent levels are different, but we just saw, I forget the guy's name he fought. Preston Parsons just fought the dude on like 4 days' notice.
Evan Elder.
And Parsons had him locked in like tight arm triangles, like chokes. He had him locked. Everything he had looked like the end of the fight. I had a Parsons sub prop in that one. But what we didn't know is Elder just was tough. And like, I mean, Elder's face was turning purple and he's like, I'm good. Like, and that's the thing. We don't know. We don't know how tough Argueta is. Is this a bad matchup for him? Absolutely. But maybe he can withstand it. He does have a wrestling background. Maybe he can at least stay out of trouble. So I don't even think it's worth taking the sub prop. Damon Jackson's decision might be like an interesting like pivot way to play it. But I'm staying away from this one from a betting side. I thought I was going to be on the sub prop, but like actually round 2 sub sounded good, but plus 350. Are you crazy? Like, wow.
You're getting like no value. Not enough.
I don't think I've ever seen a sub prop that low, to be honest. I don't think like that's like a round 1 sub prop typically, like plus 300 range. Like, this is crazy. Like, so there's no value on it. Like, and I don't really want to bet a decision here, but Jackson by decision might be like a fun, well, not fun. You're going to be sweating for 15 minutes, but it might be kind of an interesting pivot play against the market.
It could, but this is not one I'm targeting too much. I said my thoughts on this one. I think the price is wide but justified at the same time. So move on to the next one that I've kind of got.
Here we go.
A bet on now. I did lock it in earlier.
Okay.
I took Joe Selecki. Joe Selecki is now the minus 165 favorite, best price, versus Alex De Silva. And I do think this is a buy low spot on Selecki. I know he disappointed a lot of people last time out, but I do think he's the better fighter, the more durable fighter. And we've seen De Silva slow down, and I do think that round 3 finish is not off the table. What are your thoughts on this one?
Ooh, I like hearing that.
Oh, yeah.
So I have a bet on this also. I have not the bet you think, though, because we didn't talk about what that actual bet was. So I am taking this fight not to go the distance at minus 120. I think Selecki can get a sub. I think there's a lot to like about De Silva, to be honest. He's a lot of fights at a very young age, but we haven't seen him in about 2 years. We really don't know what improvements he's made, if any. I agree with you that it's a buy low spot. Like that Gordon fight, man, just, I mean, the fight IQ, the game plan was really bad late fight. I don't know why I can watch that back and still not understand how he lost. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's one of those, it's kind of like the Gravely fight where like he's crushing Nate Maness and then what do you mean he lost? Like, I just went to the bathroom. Like, what do you mean the fight's over? How? And I felt like that way with Selecki. Now, I don't think De Silva's cardio is great. He's not, I mean, now he hasn't fought in 2 years. I can't imagine that's helping his cardio. Like, the reps help the cardio. So I like that Selecki late prop, but I cannot discount the possibility of De Silva tagging him early. Very good on the ground. He's a BJJ black belt. Like, he's no joke. And a lot of experience at that age. So I think they look at him as a prospect. I think this is a really interesting test. I would need more on the De Silva side to take him. I would need probably close to plus 200 to justify a bet. I think the line, I'm with you. I don't think it's wide enough. I think Selecki
buy low.
I think Selecki should be about minus 200 here. I mean, obviously, yeah, you're getting a buy low opportunity. We talked about the prop of Selecki submission or decision, the double chance. And then it was like you're saving like 5 cents, 10 cents. So it's not worth it. I like Selecki, and I think the late sub is, I mean, even his sub prop is 3-1. Just see his sub prop, a guy who's a submission guy, is the same as Damon Jackson's round 2 submission prop. Like, it's crazy. But I think the Selecki round 2 and round 3 subs are really live. So, but to me, fight doesn't go kind of covers you on both. So that's how I'm going to approach it. I may, when I put my bets out tomorrow on Twitter, I may add a Selecki sub prop. I will not be on the De Silva side no matter what. I'm either going to be on the Selecki side or I'm going to just do time props.
Yeah, well, when I talked about this with you yesterday, I had no bet, and I was waiting for you to help me. And
I'm hoping I helped.
You did, but as soon as it hit minus 160, I'm like, there's my go mark. And I guess I snagged it, but I told myself so. Saint Denis was minus 130, Selecki was minus 160. Those are the two that I'm waiting for. And Selecki hit, so I took it right away. I'm not going to go overly crazy on it just because like I do think it's a buy low spot, but it's not like a hammer spot.
I'm looking for one more. I'm looking for one more play here. If you give me 1 second, I just got to see what it is on DraftKings. This is another interesting way to play. All right, this is an interesting way to play this fight. Selecki De Silva fight to end in a sub is plus
what is that?
Is plus 215. So you covered both. I mean, Selecki's not getting a knockout. I'd be shocked if Selecki won by knockout. Okay. Could De Silva win by knockout? Sure. But he's a BJJ ace. His submission's not like completely out of control. Is that a spot worth it? I may have to look into that one a little more because then you do cover yourself a little bit. But
plus 250 on FanDuel.
It's not well. Thank you, FanDuel, as always, for our the extra couple of pennies. But I don't know. That might be an interesting spot to look at.
Okay.
I'll have to. Like I said, I lean more on the Selecki side, but I think De Silva could get him out. I think De Silva could, if he's got 5 minutes of cardio, he's going to look very dangerous those first 5 minutes, and you know it too. Like I think the fight script is that Selecki will take over, like by the middle of the second round. So
okay.
Sorry for not helping you.
No, you did. I got that locked in. I'm happy. I'm cheering for Selecki tomorrow. I do think it's a buy low spot. De Silva hopefully hasn't made these incredible improvements in his time off. But anyways, let's move on to the All right. Audie Osborne minus 180. I'm just kidding. We'll talk about this briefly. Shall we? I don't have much to say on this one. I don't want to get you beaten by a bag of oranges.
They're not oranges, you know. Are you aware? Oh, you're talking about Wheezy. You're talking about Wheezy's bag of oranges. Okay.
Yeah, you got your yam bags.
I may have a different bag for this fight.
Exactly. Oh, do tell, because I have nothing to say about this one.
I may have Lou Betch's yam bag special for this.
Yeah.
So I'm betting a point deduction, and I'm going to keep this short and sweet. I have no idea why they made this fight. I have no idea why it's. I understand why it's so high on the card. It's one for the gentleman, I suppose. It's not like one that fight fans are like clamoring to see. So anytime I see a fight that A, I think will go the distance, and B, makes no sense, I hit the point deduction prop at 20-1. So it's $5, whatever. I mean, I don't throw money. You can't throw much on these, but the Whisperer has spoken.
The yam bag man himself. This is
has spoken.
A legendary moment in time. But
I've hit 2 of them this year.
Have you? So you had the one I tailed you on, which was
and Chukwi eye poke.
Yes, that one. That one was the one that was.
And then
Negamurano.
I thought that was that fight.
Oh yeah, they fought each other. No.
I can't remember. I can't. I'll have to look back. I know I got 2 of them in like a 3-week span, and I was like, oh my god, like
this is my thing now.
I was like, I guess I'm well, Andrew thank you, Andrew Gombas, for even pointing out to me in the first place that I could make that bet. And then like Clint and I,
so fun.
I think Tim Troiano, Danny Lags, and I had the same on both of them. I think we all 3 of us hit the same point deduction bet, and none of the 3 of us knew the other ones had the bet, which is pretty funny. Like, so now I talk to Tim all the time, and I'm like, "Who we got?
Yam bags? Yeah,
Like, who we talking? Like, who are we cooking up? But to me, it's always like the fight that has no, like, I mean, what are you looking for in these kind of fights? Cage grab, eye poke, ball shot.
groin
Okay.
strike. Yep.
So two of them we're not. So one of them we're probably not getting here. Cage grab with two fighters that haven't fought in a while. When fatigue's an issue, cage grab's very much in play. And it depends on the ref. Do you have, like, if you have Jason Herzog, he's taking the point. If you have Herb Dean, you need 8 hard warnings before the point's taken. I mean, sorry, Gordo's buddy, Herb Dean.
We're friends. Yeah, no hate, no.
I
Herb
know
slander.
you are, but Herb doesn't like taking points. So, you know,
just relax.
But I have nothing else to add on that one. Like, there's no bet ever. Like, maybe fight to end in split decision if you feel like doing a fun bet. That's probably plus 450. That's like that's another when in doubt bet, but just don't bet that fight.
No, let's just move on.
Let's move on.
I'm not going to say anything about it. Instead, I'm going to talk about Odie Osborne. I do have a big play on this one. And where's my line movement at? Oh, my line movement is looking okay on this one. I hit that here.
Oh.
Nice. I want Odie Osborne this weekend. I think that the anthropomorphic advantages are there, but most importantly, the ground game is there. I had to throw in that big word just for you.
I appreciate it.
It's one where Adeshev does have a better record than he does indicate, because he does have that kickboxing background, but he is a 4-3 fighter at the end of the day. He is a guy who has a questionable ground game because he is a kickboxer. He's also a guy who hasn't fared well against the upper echelon of the division. And if I'm going to bet hard on Ryan Benoit, I'm going to bet hard on Odie Osborne. In order to hedge my bets, though, because I do know Odie Osborne was knocked out, and he's a guy who fights at a high pace, tired out his last time, I think the fight doesn't go as well. That way, either if all goes to plan, if my insight is right and Odie Osborne takes him down, submits him in round 1, that cashes as well. But if he also gasses and Adeshev's pressure becomes too much, that cashes as well. So give me the fight doesn't go. Give me Odie Osborne. I'm all over him. What about yourself?
This was the hardest fight for me the whole week, because this is another one that I think a lot MMA Twitter's been all over Osborne. Like, I saw people firing bets on him like the day after the last UFC card. Like, people have had bets on him for 2 weeks. I know you got him early in this process as well. So I really went back for it. I mean, yesterday on my show, I'm kind of looking into Dashev round 3 KO just because I don't like Osborne's cardio. But when I gave it another look, this morning. And what I realized is I don't think Adeshev has the physicality to tire out Osborne. I think Vergara did push him around a little bit. I think Vergara made it ugly. Even on the ground, Vergara was able to defend himself. Like, I think Vergara he made the pace of that fight enough that Osborne got tired. I don't know that Adeshev can push that pace. He's a counter striker too. He's very much going to look for counters in this kind of fight. So I think Osborne will be in control. I think if Osborne decides to take this to the ground, he's going to get a submission. So I do have the Osborne sub. I have Osborne fight doesn't go the distance are my 2 plays.
Good. I agree.
And I think the round 1 sub is, I didn't see a very good, actually, BetMGM didn't have that before. I'm just going to take a quick look and see if Osborne round 1 sub is even up here. It is. It's Odie Osborne round 1 sub is plus 1100 on BetMGM. And to me, that is a wild, like, does that happen? I mean, I think that shouldn't be plus 1100. I think
you want to know what?
You love it, don't you?
I was ready to bet something like that, but guess what they have boosted on Bet365? They have Osborne round 1 boosted, and that makes me think, like, they don't think it's going to happen. Are they're trying to tempt me into doing it?
Well, they're going to tempt me into doing it.
Well, they don't have a specific method of victory. They just have, like, to win in round 1. So it's like boosted from, like, actually, let's see what it is.
Well, his round 1 sub on BetMGM is I mean, his KO prop is plus 450. His sub prop is 1100.
They boosted it to like plus 550 for him to win round 1.
I mean, there's another 1 or 2 round 1 subs that I like coming up. But
okay.
But I mean, if Osborne takes him, like, obviously you worry about the ground and pound, but, like, isn't that the path of least resistance for him? Just take him down immediately. Like, has Adeshev shown he has any get up game? He hasn't. Like, beating Ryan Benoit is one thing. You know, he's limited. Osborne Osborne athletically is awesome. Like he's an incredible athlete. Like, and people forget, don't look at him get knocked out round 1 by Kopp. He looked great in that fight until he got caught, but he looked great. He was winning the first round.
He was scared me. I had a bet on Kopp.
But Osborne, I'm saying this. Yeah, well, I had the under, so I mean, I liked it either way.
Good.
But Osborne to me is like, he's kind of an enigma, and like I don't know how good he is yet. But athletically speaking, he's miles above Adashev here. And I think he has a huge, like an 8-inch reach advantage here too. Like he has every physical advantage in this fight. He has the experience advantage. I mean, cardio is not going to matter if this fight ends in the first or the second. So I'm on the same bets you do, and I'm going to take a small poke on this round 1 sub at 11-1. I don't know how I don't take at least.
Maybe I'll join you.
I think you have to for at least only 9 units.
Oh, yeah, and if I'm going to bet on this next fight, I'm going to have to place a bet on that one, right? Okay, it's time. Like, do we have the mental fortitude to talk about this fight right now?
The people's main event.
I don't know if I can bring myself to do it. Alonzo Menafield facing Askar, blank record Mozarov.
From parts unknown.
You know what, man? This fight is so weird. And let me tell you why. If you go to my bet MMA tips, the first bet I made like 3 weeks ago was a bet on Alonzo Menafield here.
Wow.
And I am happy with that. But like, it's getting at a hand. Like, I know records have changed, but I don't think his skill has changed. Like, I think Mozarov is still deadly for what? A couple rounds? Or sorry, a couple minutes? Oh, a couple minutes. Whoa. Point being, Mozarov is a guy that goes out there and is killer to be killed. Like, he is the definition of a GPP play in real life. Like, if he doesn't kill you in the first 30 seconds, like, he gives up. And I know there's these rumors of him being paid off, but like, he still gives up.
He stated them. He actually had a quote about this yesterday. He said he was young and needed money. He's verified that this is true. That early in his career, he took losses to get paid. Oh, well, I mean, it came out of his. Well, we also don't know if he's telling the truth, but like, he did address those yesterday.
Yeah,
it's wild.
Neck tattoo. Anyways,
right.
We're on the under here because Menafield in his own right is a powerful guy with a lot of finish ability, and whenever Mozarov faces any resistance at all, he gives up. He quits. I don't see Mozarov winning minutes. I don't see Mozarov being able to stand after minute 3, 4, 5 unless he's taking some really next level drugs, or maybe he just changed identities completely once again. Maybe he's just a different guy now. But from everything I see, he's minute 1, minute 2, minute 3 done. And I'm on the under. I'm on the under for a max bet for the first time in a while. I took the conservative route because I played him under 2.5 instead of under 1.5. But just give me violence. Please give me violence. Like, I want Menafield to go out there, take him down in the first 10 seconds, and Von Flew him the same thing he did to the water buffalo. Like, that'd be perfect. And that's honestly, like, the fact that I'm saying that is like not even that out of pocket. Like, it's kind of like, yeah, that could happen. What a weird fight. You yam-bagging this?
No, because it's not going to go long enough. Like, you know how we like to talk about people like minute winners? This is seconds winners. Like, this is the kind of fight where it's already winning seconds. So I have 2 bets on this fight. I have fight does not start round 2. I bet this earlier in the week. I got a way better price than DraftKings has it at -150. Their odds are terrible. BetMGM had it at -110. Fight not to start round 2. I hammered that one. If this fight goes to the second round, I don't deserve to win this bet. And then at +900, I took a poke on the round 1 sub for Menafield because he has a submission win against Sharon, who, by the way, I think Sharon is better than Mozarov. I can't believe I'm saying that. But also, we've seen Mozarov, if you look at his tape, he has tap to strikes. So Menafield might not have to even wrap a submission hold on him to get this submission. So at +900, round 1 sub, if it's still there, I mean, I already locked this one in. I got to see what my price is now, but I mean, it's definitely let's see, round
still
1
+900.
I have it. It's +800 on BetMGM now, but
+900. There's the chart right there. Is that
I think it was +950 yesterday when I was talking to Weezy about it. Again, when you have somebody who's tapped to strikes, that gets real interesting. So I mean, if this fight gets out of the first, we suck. But
yeah, we just don't deserve.
And even under one, you know what I don't understand? Like, and some of these odds like are bananas to me. So the fight to end in round 1 is minus, now it's minus 120. Under 1.5 is minus 225. So you're really paying that much more for 2.5 minutes. Like, when you look at a fight going, you know, over 2.5 and fight to go, like when you look at those time differences, they're very minuscule. Typically, it'll be like minus 175, minus 150. Like you get a really small difference in that last 2.5 minutes of the fight. I'm very surprised that this 2.5 minutes they're charging you an extra $1 for it. I'm very surprised.
I don't know, man. I think that 2.5 minutes is very important.
I don't think it's going to go, but I don't think it's going to hit the second round. Like if this fight's not over by the end of the first, this might get really weird. And like, this might be like Kimbo versus Dada again, where they're just like staring at each other like, I threw everything I knew how to do at you. And ask they could be like, I don't know any other moves. Like I'm out of moves. So it might get weird. I just don't, there's no way this fight gets out of the first round.
I bet Menefield before there were time props, just because I think that Mozarov was a fraud. And even at that, the guy who's going to win the minutes, if that even exists, is going to be Menefield.
Yeah.
There's just no way that this happens. Anyways, I don't know.
But you and I are just happy the fight is happening. You and I had talked all week about we were worried that like Askar's going to get on the scale, collect the show money and be like, oh, my finger. I'm hurt. Can't go.
My neck tattoo.
And look, he still might. We don't know. But like he looked all right on the scale. Like he looked pretty. I think he was underweight by a pound. I think he was 204. But he looked in shape. He's composed. So we just hope this fight goes because
he's conning us all.
We're sick people. You and I, we're just sick people that want this fight to go.
Oh, speaking of sick people, I don't know if I can bet on this one either. Karine Silva, minus 125 favorites. Poliana Botelho, plus 105. Debutante Karine Silva, kill it to be killed. I bet against her. Yeah, I bet against her on Dana White Contender Series, and that hurt because I thought her opponent was going to win that one. Versus Poliana Botelho, a world-renowned women's fighter. Again, like I do my research and I work hard on this, and I think that there is just a lot better spots I can allocate my money to. There's so many intangibles in this one. Like, what is Silva's? Like, she's 100% finish rate, and what does her cardio look like? What does her step up in competition look like? She's been fighting cans. I think it's dog or pass here in Botelho, and I'm playing Botelho in DraftKings because of her. I know more about her, but I can't put money on this one from a betting side. What about yourself? I know you can. I know you're a wild man.
I only have one play on this, and that fight doesn't go. I'm going to play in it.
Ooh, I do like that.
It's plus money. I mean, and I don't think Botelho's, an amazingly skilled. She's kind of seems like a gatekeeper, as her ceiling seems like maybe that's as far as she's going to go. But Silva, I think. I mean, look, she's going to give. I think she has a little more cardio than people are giving her credit for, but I don't think she has 2-round cardio. I think she has like right in that middle of the second round, she's going to fall off. Can she blitz Botelho early? Yeah. And what's interesting to me is if you look at like her props, like her sub prop is plus 500. Her KO prop is plus 550. So even the odds makers don't really know, like they're kind of giving her like options here. But if Silva doesn't get her out of there and the second round is like, and then the takedowns are an issue in the second round, I mean, it might be a situation if she just, this could be a verbal tap to fatigue. I mean, so I think the finish rate combined is what? Like, it's something like 92% combined with these two in their careers. 90%. It's high. So to me, the fact that you're getting plus money here is a must bet. It's weird that this is on the main card. I will say that. This seems like a weird fight to have put on the main card. But it also tells me that Dana White must see something in Karine Silva that we don't. That he must be like, this is a spotlight for her. He must be pushing her. Again, the props being so even between finish methods, I don't see that. When you see that, it gives me pause because do they really think she's that well-rounded? Like at this stage of her career? I don't know. I mean, look, she's the more experienced fighter here too. Just remember that. Now, take that with a grain of salt, like with some of the regionals she's fought, but she does have more experience, just 4 more fights. So I like the time prop, and that's all it. Moving on. That's all I got.
Don't make me bet this fight.
You don't want to root for one of them to die? Come on.
You're very convincing.
I know. I got in the wrong field. I should have been a lawyer.
But sir, his yam bags. Anyways,
potato. As long as the potato judge is not you probably have no idea what the potato judge is. Something from Conan O'Brien. Everybody was guilty. Just know that. Didn't matter what the crime was. Guilty.
Okay. All right. Next up, 3 fights left. Lucas Almeida making his, what was his second? I don't know. Lucas Almeida plus 182. Michael Trezano minus. He's getting some money back on him here. Minus 200-ish. Minus 250. Oh, sorry. That caught me off guard there. It's almost like a Hannah.
It is his UFC debut, by the way.
Yes.
He's on the Contender Series, but it's his UFC debut.
Yes. And this is a weird one because Michael Trezano is a guy who I don't like to bet on his fights because he gives me those. What's the right comparison? I don't see that same urge. I don't see that same urge. You know, like he's not a finisher. He's a minute winner, and he's durable, and I'll give him that. But he's facing a guy who Lucas Almeida who does have that 100% finish rate, who is a potent finisher, who has a very well-rounded game plan. I think it's gonna be a decently fun fight because hands will be thrown, there will be violence, but can Lucas Almeida get him out there? Probably not. Trezano's pretty tough, but Trezano's not finishing anybody. So I do think the best bet you can make on this fight is the Almeida finish only, and if it goes to decision, you get your money back. Like I think that's the best bet you can make. However, I'm not going to do it. I don't know if I'm being a wuss this fight card, or if I'm trying to pick my spots, but I'm not betting this one. I don't know why. I would really lean towards that Almeida finish only line, but I will let you give them the big plus money number.
I got nothing to add because that's exactly the bet I took earlier in the week. I don't want to. Trezano decision is plus 100, and Almeida scorecards no action I think was plus 145 when I locked it in. I don't know how I don't take that. Trezano doesn't finish anybody, and could Almeida win a decision? Is there a world where Almeida can win a decision? Yes, there is. If his cardio is good in the second round, he could easily win the set. Because I think we all expect Almeida to come out hot.
Yeah, win the first.
But what if he? But again, and we don't know. But what if he comes out slightly more disciplined? Trezano is a low volume. He's not a high volume puncher. So could Almeida have a couple of moments in the first round without emptying the tank? Could he take the first 2 rounds that way? He sure could. But I can't bet Trezano decision because I don't trust his volume. I trust his toughness. I don't trust his volume. But, at some point, all these guys that are super tough, that volume starts piling up, man. So I'm on the Almeida scorecards, no action play, and that's it. Like no time prop, no nothing. Just I'm excited to see Almeida though because I like his tape. Like
he's a fun dude.
He's exciting and this guy's got some I wish they hadn't matched him up with Trezano. I wish they would have matched him up with somebody with a questionable chin because Almeida's got some serious power. Serious power. So we'll see.
I think that it'll be a fun one, but I'm going to sit back and enjoy. I think DraftKings-wise, you got Almeida, a guy with a super high floor because Trezano's not going to really finish anybody. And he is a dog. I don't mind him and Master Zalgiz Zamagulov there.
Master Z.
Master Z. So I'm going to say dogger pass here. I do like the spot you got. That line's gone now, right?
Oh, it's way gone.
Minus 140 on 5 dimes, and it's not even available on Bet Online. Well, maybe not. Anyways, that'll be fun. Hey, look, it's Dean Barry. Okay, let's move it on. Co-main event, people's main event. This one's a fun one, sort of. You got Movsar Evloev, who's minus 400. Dan Ige plus 300. Dan Ige, he's another one of those guys who everyone loves him. He's the underdog, and rightfully so because Korean Zombie kind of laid the blueprint for this fight. I mean, Movsar Evloev's a guy who's undefeated, very good wrestler, very good control, and unfortunately, I do see him doing the same thing here. I do see him controlling his way to a decision. And if you guys do follow me on Twitter, I I did point out that these DraftKings same game parlays, they give you that free dough. Like, thank you for coming to Ontario. I will gladly take from your sports book.
That was a good little play you put together.
So that's what I'm doing. First of all, how do I track that on Bet MMA Tips? I have no idea.
I don't think they let you customize it like that.
But the bet, if you guys haven't seen, the bet I'm taking is if you just add Evloev to get the most takedowns in the fight, in addition to him winning a decision, it turns into an almost an even money bet instead of paying minus 200, right? So I do think he gets the most takedowns. Bold take, right? But unfortunately, I see some more WrestleMania here. I think this is Evloev's fight to lose. Of course, you can never count out the dynamite in Ige's hand. Just ask Gavin Tucker. But I do think this is Evloev's fight to lose. What about yourself?
It's unbettable, I think.
Unbettable.
I think Evloev by decision is the only way to play it. It's -2. It's -200. It's a parlay piece. I mean, look, if you want to put it in a parlay, that's fine. I think this is the easiest fight on the card to predict. Ooh. I think it's Evloev, and he's probably, as far as DraftKings goes, I think he's probably a must roster. I think it's going to be rinse and repeat for 15 minutes. I mean, if Korean Zombie could do this to Ige, like, what do you think Evloev's going to do to him? The only thing I worry about, look, if you want to worry about anything, Evloev has like no striking. I mean, none. Like, he doesn't have any striking. He's not even, but what I like is he's not even interested in striking. Like, he's not going to spend the first 3 minutes of this fight trying to like establish his striking. He's not.
Nope.
And I don't think Ige can stop him coming in and just like taking him down immediately and just rinse and repeat. And you know, we're talking about guys like Trezano and like, how many beatings can you take before they start, you know, accumulating, before they start being an accumulated thing and you're no longer a tough guy? I got to think Ige might be getting there because he has taken a lot of damage. What's that?
You see an Evloev finish then?
No, but I'm saying is, but the time is coming where Ige can only sustain so much. Like, he can only sustain so much every fight before it's like, oh yeah, well, he's tough and he never gets finished. It's like, yeah, but that day's coming, man. He's taking too much damage for my liking, but more importantly, like, this is just such a mismatch, like, on the ground that, you know, Evloev by decision -200, throw it in a parlay with whoever,
leave it,
and that's it. And then let's get to this weird choice for a main event.
You got Biggie Boy. He's the main event king. These two guys are in a ton of main events. Anyways, final fight of the night, like you said, main event, Alexander Volkov, Rozenstruik. This is one that I messed up the line, and I'm willing to admit it. I bet Alexander Volkov, -160, -155, I think, expecting him to get a little bit more love, but no, it's coming the other side. You got to get Volkov at -135 earlier. Anyways, point being here is I think this is going to be, unfortunately, a slower main event. I do think it's going to play out at kickboxing range. I do think that a lot of people are expecting it to go under. I want you to talk me about a bet on the over. The last one I'm tempted on is that over bet because I do think it stays at range for a long time. The only reason I haven't bet it yet is because Rozenstruik's all out here posting videos of wrestling, being all cute and stuff. And I do think that if he does wrestle here, he does tire himself out and Volkov takes over late. So it's a weird one. I have very low expectations for this, unfortunately. I do think it's going to be a slower fight. But give me Volkov. I'm on Volkov here all day. I do think he is able to use his range. I do think he has grappling upside. I do think he has durability, cardio upside, and range. And I'm going to give him that. And I hope he pulls through for me. What about yourself?
Yeah, I have Volkov decision at +150 here.
I like that. I love that.
I know people think the smaller cage, they seem to, and I think this is a common misnomer. They assume the smaller cage is going to be a huge advantage for Rozenstruik because of his power. But it's not a huge advantage because Volkov is going to have a massive size advantage. And Rozenstruik is another low volume guy. This is not a guy that, like, he waits and he waits and he waits. He counters with leg kicks. I do worry about the leg kick. His leg kicks are nasty. But he's patient. He's patient. And, like, you're talking about this being a boring fight. It could be Volkov jabbing him for 25 minutes. That could be the whole fight. Now, so on the Volkov side, the concern is this. The Aspinall fight is not a concern for me. Aspinall came in, just blitzed him, subbed him, but he took no damage. And, like, I think Aspinall, we're now seeing, like, if you didn't know before with Aspinall, like, we're seeing, like, this guy is an elite, not just an elite, like, heavyweight. he's got elite fight IQ, I think, because that was like the way he approached the fight and just immediately did it was the perfect game plan. It's the fight before that with Tybura. Now, I looked and I couldn't find if there was anything that had come out, whatever, but Volkov did not look right, even in the second round of that fight. His cardio wasn't. Volkov's cardio is traditionally very good. And he looked kind of, and Tybura just moves like he's tired from, it's like him and Derek Lewis. Like they look like they're tired the second the fight starts. It doesn't mean they're tired, but it's kind of like the way they move. Volkov was moving like that, and I didn't like it. But it really was the only fight where I've ever seen his cardio not look great. So like he can jab all 25 minutes in this fight. I watched him do it with Gon. I mean, yeah, I know Gon. We've seen Volkov go 25 minutes and be all right in the 5th round. So I think this is going to be 5 minutes of him jabbing. I know, betting on a main event decision is always like a dicey proposition. But
just ask Blachowicz and Rakic.
But I mean, you don't see a finish on the Volkov side, do you? Like, I don't.
Not necessarily, no.
And Rozenstruik can't win a decision. He can't with how low volume he is.
On the topic of Volkov decision, don't ask why this is the boost they decided to do, but FanDuel has boosted Volkov by points and Damon Jackson by submission to plus 700. So,
I mean, I don't know. Maybe FanDuel's watching the show.
I don't know what's going on, FanDuel. I don't know why you chose those two. TSN odds boost. This might be a Canadian thing that it's TSN, eh?
Okay.
What's the other one they have? Favorites parlay. Molina, Gravely, Trezano, Volkov. No, thank you.
Yeah. So, it's funny. Now, you're talking about that, but BetMGM always does these. Here, I'm pulling it up right now. BetMGM always does these props that are like the exact opposite. Like you want to hear the most ridiculous one you'll ever hear? Like, why would I ever bet this? You ready?
Yeah.
This pays plus 425. Karolina Kowalkiewicz.
Nope, done.
Right. Karine Silva and Mike Trezano all to win. Plus 425. Then we have, this is literally featured on BetMGM site. Okay, on the top. Dan Ige to win by decision, plus 500. Yargino Rozenstruik to win by decision, plus 500. Like, you're promoting things that you know. At least BetMGM's telling me, like, we know nobody's ever going to, like, take these bets. Like, please help us, like, balance it. Because, I look at these and I'm like, come on, dude. Like, and what was the other money line one? Menafield, Evloev, Saint Denis, and Renat all to win. Plus 290. Get out of here with this. Like, give me something. Give me something interesting.
Anyways, that concludes our UFC Vegas 56 complete breakdown. Before I let everyone know where to find you, what have we missed going on? Not much. We missed Ian Gary fight news. He will be fighting Gabe Green at an upcoming event. We missed no fight cancellation as of yet.
That's a good
I think it'll be fun because Gabe has that chin, right?
And he's not going to be as low volume as Weeks was.
Exactly. So I think it's going to be there's some good fights coming up. I appreciate you a lot for coming on the show, for taking over, handling the reins. Let them know where they can find you, where they can see your stuff.
Well, first, thanks for letting me on. And if you guys haven't liked and subscribed to Play His Fades, please do. This is a great network. Goro's a good dude. Phoenix, good dude. Liam is an all right dude. No, I like Liam a lot, though. Every good dude's here. Find me at Lou Betcha on Twitter. I'm also going to be on in about 2 hours plus on the MMAEngine. I am the guy they let on the channel once in a while, but mostly I am the head of IT engineering over there, and we're releasing the product any day now. I'm just working at the kinks for the product for the first of 3 releases we will have in the next few months, but this one specifically for content creators. So very excited for that. Find me on Lou Betcha. I always post my bets in the morning of fight days, and there's no John Kelly for us tomorrow. So John Kelly's off for the day. So no best bet panels, which means I will be undefeated for 8 weeks straight on the John, as far as I'm concerned with John Kelly. But thanks for having me on, dude. I really do appreciate it.
No problem. Thanks for filling in as always. And now that this video is done, you guys go check out my DraftKings plays and my best bets. For me, I'm out of here. If you guys aren't aware, like I haven't been on John Kelly's panel in weeks because I work Saturday mornings and I work when the fight card starts. I will be missing the first 2 fights. What a shame. But I appreciate everybody for hanging out in the chat today. Of course, Frank is always an absolute man, myth, legend. And that's going to conclude it for us. Hopefully you guys learned something. As Lou said, drop a like, make sure you subscribe to the channel. And that's it. That's it. That's it. On a night where we have, or actually it's afternoon, on an afternoon where we have Mr. Questionable Askar Mozarov fighting the same time as Cole Kacha versus Herrig. I think that's an appropriate ending. You know what? Sometimes we're not professional, and we're just going to leave it like that with our yam bags in hand. And I appreciate you guys for tuning in. Make sure to show some love to Lou, and we'll see you guys next week for UFC 275. Thank you, everybody, for watching. Let's make some money.